Yo, 2026 and the link is feeling cold. Stories of a super runner getting kinda old. Jalen under fire, say his vision's getting tight. Calling them uncoachable every single night. AJ in the tray, got me in my feels. Mr. Hollywood is the brownest on the field. Man, he ain't calling plays, I'll be searching for the spark. Eagles flying solo, hunting shadows in the dark. Rabel and Rossini trying to launch a master plan. Ever since the photos got you sitting with the fans. Draft day approaching, how we sitting on this perch. Gotta fill some holes, so you know he's on the search. 10 toes down with the Eagles on the scene. Watching out for Cap, cause your boy is bleeding green. Searching through the trending topics, info moving slow. Pro fan talk, always keep you in the know. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro fan talk. Where the real ones ball. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro fan talk. Where the real ones ball. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Pro fan talk.
What's going on? What's going on, people? Oh, what is this going on? Oh, you gotta get rid of that. What's going on, y'all? I'm gonna try to do these live at lunches a little bit more, seeing as though they seem to be received very well, and I appreciate that. The time will vary a little bit. I try to get as close to 12 o'clock as I can, but sometimes the way my schedule is working, so when I get done, go on my lunch, I'll jump on live real quick. We'll go for about 45 minutes, and then I'll be done, and that should give you plenty of time to, finish your sandwich and wash your hands and get back to work. That's the way it's supposed to work. So what's going on? We're still in the crash out phase of Diana Russini and everything that happened with Mike Vrabel, more so in our area, in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area, because now the report came out from Adam Schefter yesterday that it really looks like AJ is going to get traded on June 2nd, or, June 2nd at 12:01 a.m. or something like that. But in any case, and that begs the question, what happens when Diana Russini, minus the morality clause, she was right? Because I asked this question before, she was literally getting she was getting her information from the horse's mouth, from the source. So you knew she was right. And I'm at this point, I'm like this. If Mike Vrabel is not going to catch any smoke, then Diana Russini should be reinstated. She should get her job back at the Athletic. And she should continue to do what she needs to do to make her living. That's just, especially if they're not going to give Mike Vrabel any smoke. And the reason I'm saying that is because what Mike Vrabel does is a hell of a lot more important than what Diana Russini is doing. She plays a role, but there are other people that can do the same thing as good, if not better. Her ace in the hole was she had a source, but everybody's got sources. They might not be sleeping with them, but that gets into the place where that's really none of our business. The only reason we worried about it is because somebody, allegedly, her husband, hired a PI to take pictures. If those pictures didn't exist, they still would have been doing the same thing. They would have continued their weekend, or they did continue their weekend at the bungalow or wherever they were in Arizona. And they would have came back to their separate lives, and it would have been business as usual. And I'm good with that. But the problem is she catching all the smoke. It was two people in them photos. She catching all the smoke. And she don't coach an NFL team. She not telling players to be accountable. She don't have to talk to the rookies when they got in trouble at the strip club. And they trying to talk to the cops so they won't write up a report and it'll be in the papers. She ain't got to do all that. Mike Vrabel does. Mike Vrabel is the one that's trying to set an example of accountability and how to hold yourself and how to be a professional. Mike Vrabel is doing that. And is he doing a good job? Because I guarantee you, somebody, rookies, vets, whoever, there's always a couple of people on the team. And I'm not necessarily talking about bad apples and all of that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about you always got a couple people that just they want to beat, they want to go to the beat of their own drum and they want to do their own thing. And they're not discreet about it. And in this days, in these social media streets, your business can get out like that very, very easily. And these guys with these egos don't want to take any precautions. Just as a little sidebar, why you think Tiger Woods didn't, rejected the idea of getting a driver? He rejected the idea of getting a driver because his ego says, I don't want nobody in my business. I don't want anybody to know who I'm messing with. I don't want anybody to know where I'm going, because the minute you introduce somebody else to the equation, whether you pay them, whether you trust them, whether they got an NDA, whatever the situation is, there is no guarantee that that person will not betray the trust. Because unfortunately, you can't trust nobody. If you pay somebody 6 figures and he's your driver or she's your driver, and you got an agreement that says you don't say nothing. Well, what happens if somebody comes around and pays that person 7 figures? And if they take you to court, I'll cover your court costs. Like, you do not underestimate what people will do to dig up dirt, especially in this day and age. So it all comes from a place of ego. Mike Vrabel never in a million years thought he was going to get caught up like this. But he ain't catching no smoke. What, he didn't answer questions? What you think going to happen on OTAs? I guarantee you. You thought the situation with AZ Fudd was bad down in Dallas when the dude asked her about dating Paige Beckers. And before a grown woman could even, form her lips to give an answer, Dallas Mavericks hopped in and like, no, we're not going to talk about that today. What you think is going to happen when Mike Vrabel eventually has to go to camp? They're going to try to tell him and this is my prediction. They are going to try to tell the media, keep the questions about the Patriots. If you ask a question about the Rossini scandal, you will be asked to leave and we will pull your credentials. That is what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen. The only time he'll speak about the scandal is if it is something that is arranged and orchestrated by the NFL. Maybe he'll go on NFL.com or the NFL Network or something like that. Maybe he'll, give an interview with somebody, Jay Schrager, on Good Morning Football or something. It's going to be something under the shield of the NFL. Because they're trying to protect, because this is not a good look. Because now it's spiraling out of control, because now everybody's asking the obvious questions. This is tampering. And don't get it twisted. Don't think that this was the first time. This happens all the time. They just got caught. And you can't put this toothpaste back in the tube. So, yeah, mum's the word. Because now everybody's asking, how come ESPN's been so quiet about this? How come when Deshaun Watson got into his trouble, they blasted that everywhere? Right? They blasted that everywhere. So, if Tay goes to a Chiefs game, she's on screen how many times? And then social media goes to run to Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend to see what she's doing. And come on now. Keep it 100. It was good for the goose. It's good for the gander. They can talk about those relationships. You can talk about all that other kind of stuff. You can talk about all of that other nonsense. But now you can't talk about Vrabel and Rossini and what they've done, because that matters more, in my opinion. This is a head coach, and this is one of your top NFL insiders. So the question isn't, are they sleeping together? Are they smashing? The question is, what kind of information has he been leaking to her so she can make a report to change lead or create a different narrative for the benefit of dot, 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 for the benefit of the Tennessee Titans, for the benefit of Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots, for the benefit of NFL MVP voting. That's the other thing. Diana Rossini had an MVP vote. That one vote could have gotten somebody else somewhere. You know what I mean? If it was a close vote, one vote can decide it. So it's a domino effect that opens up a Pandora's box of a whole bunch of other stuff. And the quiet is kept. The NFL is just not ready to answer those questions. So they don't. And you got plenty of people like, I'm going to stick to football, because there's a huge contingency of people that don't want to deal with the mess. They don't care about Diana Rossini. They didn't like her in the first place. Would y'all stop talking about her? Can we just get on to football? That's what they're trying to get to. They want to create that national narrative. Can we just stop talking about this, please? Can we just stop talking about this? You know why I know they're going to do that? Because they did the same thing with Philadelphia. Can we just stop talking about the tush push? Can we just stop? Can we stop bringing that up? Can we? Philly's not using it anymore because their center got hurt, and he's got a disc out of place, so he can't push, so we can't run the play anymore. So all the other teams are using it, but as long as Philadelphia is not using it, let's not talk about this. Remember, they did that in games. The broadcasters in the game was like, here comes a tush push. You know what's coming. Can we just get past this? It's an ugly play. It's not a football play. They talked all of that shit. And then they had nothing to do with the play. They were just mad because it was us. That's what it comes down to. They were mad because it was us. Because if they were really concerned about it, they would still be harping about it regardless of who was running it. We just didn't run it last year. It was still 4 or 5 teams that were still running the play. Effectively, I might add. Wasn't no protests. Wasn't no meetings. It wasn't brought up in the competition committee. None of that. It was always us. So what makes you think that the NFL can't do the same thing? Can we just stop talking about this? All right, let's just get down to football. I don't want to hear nothing about scandals and Rossini and we don't know what happened. That narrative, they are trying to bring that narrative to the forefront. We just want to concentrate on football. That's what they're going to say. That we just want to concentrate on football. They did the same thing with the whole situation with Daniel Snyder and John Gruden. They threw John Gruden under the bus. He was a sacrificial lamb, but at the end of the day, it was Daniel Snyder, and they never got the people that Daniel Snyder was talking to. That's the thing that gets me. I've said this many times before. All them nasty emails and derogatory and racist emails that was in all of that stuff. They hired an independent investigator to find out all that information. And then when she got all of the information, they didn't even want to read her report. They didn't even want to read her report. So why do I think that this is just a stepping stone? This is like an Indiana Jones movie where he removes a small rock and all of a sudden it's a doorway to this vast underground opening. This was just the cover. This is small, but what's underneath it? This is the tip of the iceberg. Everything else is underwater, and they're trying to keep it underwater. What they don't want to happen is that iceberg to flip. Because if that iceberg flips, everybody in the surrounding area gonna get flooded or killed. So, Tiff, I'm with you. They should be investigated for tampering. And I think that the reason why the NFL is moving so slow on this is because they're going to have some BS investigation because they want it to go away. What's underneath is not good. They just throwing chum on the water. The sharks is underneath, and they trying to avoid that because I think this opens up a problem that they never thought they would have to deal with. Never. Because think about it like this. Is it really a code of ethics? Really? Is it really a code of ethics if an insider is sleeping with somebody in the business. Really, does that really come down to a code of ethics? Or you got grown folks doing what grown folks do. The reason why I question that is it would be totally different if Diana Rossini was sleeping with Mike Vrabel and she was sleeping with another coach, and they found out she was sleeping with somebody that works for the Eagles, and she was also screwing somebody that works for the Raiders, and she's also sleeping with somebody that works for the Rams and somebody that works for the Seahawks. That's different, because now she going around, and you get the idea. But when you dealing with people, that's proximity. That's proximity. If you dealing with somebody a lot, put two and two together. That's the way that usually works. That's proximity. That's natural. They can say you're not supposed to do it, but if you're not supposed to do it, then you're not supposed to do it as a coach, and you're not supposed to do it as a insider. But I guess the next question would be, why is it so wrong if she's doing that, if it's only one person, and if the information she's getting from that person is correct? The problem is, does it steer the narrative one way or the other, and does it upset the balance when you're trying to do a deal for somebody like AJ Brown? That is the question, and that's the question ain't nobody asking. We talking about tampering, but we are talking about tampering. They not talking about shit. They're not talking about nothing. They talking about Diana Rossini. She got fired from a newspaper. Now she's not on the internet every day. Now she's not calling WIP every Tuesday. That's the only thing that happened. That hasn't stopped anything. It hasn't stopped the flow of information. Because it's a lot of people talking about, oh, I would never do that. That's right. You probably wouldn't, because the person that you sitting with, or the person that you talking to, especially if it's two guys, they're not attracted to each other. Maybe it's two women, they're not attracted to each other. You don't know how that dynamic works. You don't think, let me say it like this, and I'll say it allegedly. You don't think somebody might be trying to get comfortable with the Colts owner? She's in control. She's not bad looking. Everything that goes in, somebody will find her attractive. And it might be somebody that has to ask her questions every day. And if you see somebody and deal with somebody every day, proximity, I don't care who it is, those social economic lines can be broken very easily. Let's stop with the nonsense, like acting like it don't ever happen. Come on, ESPN. You talk about everything else, and you don't want to talk about this? It's very it's very interesting. What's up, Robbie? What does that mean? And I asked the question, and I'm simply asking just to ask. What does that mean? What does journalistic integrity mean if the information is right? Is this like NASCAR? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Rubbing is racing. Meaning you do whatever you got to do to get it done. They don't care how you do it, because they don't give a damn if they fire you. Here's the thing, and I say this about a lot of things, because that is the way the world works now. I grew up in the 70s. It was different back then. There was a little bit more honor and a little bit more accountability, because you had to see people face to face all the time. It wasn't a Zoom call. It wasn't an email. You had to go see people. The people of the Philadelphia Inquirer were in the Eagles locker room with their recorders, and then they went back, had to play the recorder, to write down everything that was recorded, then type it up, then type it up again, then send it to an editor. Then they had to discuss whether they wanted to release the story or not. So it was checks and balances back then. They don't have that no more. So there's no such thing as is it journalistic integrity if the currency is traffic? Here's the thing. If you go into a game, let's say I invite you to, let's play a game of chess, me and you. We're going to play a game of chess. You know I cheat. You know I'm a cheater. You know it. But you agree to play me. Then you get mad because I beat you. And you mad because I cheated. You knew I cheated, but you sat down to play anyways. Did you think I was going to play fair because it was you? Whose fault is that? The cards are on the table with what these people do. They are on the table. Remember when Jerry Jones caught a little backlash because the photograph came out when the black kids was walking into the school, and you had all of the, now mind you, this was when back in the day when schools still were integrated and they were still killing dark folks, lynching folks. And he was one of the kids yelling and screaming at the black kids as they were trying to walk into the school with a police escort. Remember when he caught flack for that? That don't mean it didn't happen. But what that does is that puts a lot of things in perspective when you fast forward and telling people that they couldn't kneel with Kaepernick and this, that, and the third. And at the end of the day, he got out there with everybody and knelt and they did all of that shit and they forgot what the original message was in the first place. And then if you want to even go back that far, when you're talking about Kaepernick, they never said anything about the guy that told him to kneel in the first place. They totally moved that to the side. That was the guy in the military. They didn't say shit about him. It was all, we got to get Kaepernick out. They shifted the narrative. And that was the first, one of the few times, I guess, in the social media era where the whole organization, the whole NFL was actively trying to get him out. They shifted the narrative. Nothing happened to the military guy that suggested he kneel in the first place. Because remember, he was just trying to do something that wouldn't offend anybody. And he talked to somebody that was in the military. And the guy told him what we used to do when we were honoring a fallen comrade or something like that, where we would take a knee. That's where that came from. It didn't come from disrespect. But they buried that part of the story. And by the time the snowball was coming down the hill, it was so big that didn't nobody care about the truth. And this is exactly what they're saying, what was happening. We're gonna try to do a mock, dude. I done got off on a rant. Panda, my bad. My bad. And let me just to be honest with you. I'm sitting here looking at I got the screen up. I just got on the tangent, bro. I just got on the tangent. This stuff was on my mind, so I was like, I gotta get it out. So just one of them things, man. It just, my bad, man. I just listen. Let me say it like this, all right? And I'll go ahead and land this plane so we can get into the mock draft real quick. All right, because I'm only gonna be here until 10 after 1. If just by comparison, right? Think of some of the foul shit that some of these owners have done. And just leave it right there. You can start with Daniel Snyder and you can go on down. You remember a couple years ago when I don't know, one of the NBA owners, one of the older NBA owners had some young hottie out in LA and he kept getting mad at her and asked her not to bring her black friends to the arena. So again, just think of what these people do when you got billionaires. You know how you call people a multi-millionaire? You got some of these multi-billionaires. And when you have that much power, money, they just do whatever the hell they want. They say whatever the hell they want. Do we even need to get into the Robert Kraft and hell, the stuff that Bill Belichick is doing right now? If anybody else would have done that, it would have been case closed. Thank you, Don Sterling. Thank you, Panda. So don't talk to me about ethics, moral obligation. Your only obligation is to get the job done. So let me ask this: what happens if she played by the rules? They never did what they did. She did everything she was supposed to do. The whole relationship with Vrabel never existed, and she get fired. But somebody else that's doing what she's doing now came up. Now what? Again, that's like the analogy of don't get mad if you lose a game to a cheater, but you knew he was cheating in the first place. Don't get mad if, you know, and this is an extreme example. Why are you upset if your spouse is cheating on you? When they cheated with their spouse to get with you. So you got to look at the environment. Look at the environment. If you're going to play the game, you got to play it with people that's going to play like you play, that's going to follow your rules. Because if you don't, you're going to have to get your hands dirty. That means you got to go into their system. You got to play like they play. You got to lie, steal, and cheat or whatever if you want to be in that environment and succeed in it, because everybody else is doing that. And if you don't want to do that and get ahead, that's not the environment you should be in. So it is what it is. So, all right, I'm done ranting. I'm not done, but I'm done for the day. We can land this plane and let's go. Let's get a couple drafts in, man. My bad. I appreciate y'all listening to my nonsense. It's funny how it works, man. It's funny how it works. So, all right, this is somebody else yesterday asked me, or they suggested a mock sim website. I found this one. This is A to Z Sports mock simulator. If you got one that you use, suggest it. Give me put it in the chat or something. I'll check it out, because I'm all about something that's easy to read and easy to navigate. Sometimes these things get too much. So I picked the Eagles. Now remember, yesterday I was doing it, a different website, and it's my belief that most of these simulators, they pull the data from the same place. So I'm gonna run this first one, and all I want to do is I want to see if Kenyon Sadiq is available at 23. That's the only thing I'm trying to figure out. That's the only thing I'm trying to figure out. So, KF say you want to be the Commanders. Okay, we'll play that the next one. Let's see what we get. Let's see what happens when we get down to 23. Jeremiah Love, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Carnell Tate. Interesting. So you see here, Petey Woods, Caden McDonald, Philadelphia's on the clock. Let's see who we got. We know Mendoza's going number one. Jeremiah Love to the Jets. Why does everybody, I've seen the Jets, I've seen Tennessee. Why does everybody love this running back? Running backs are a dime a dozen, man. My position is going extinct. So Arvell Reese, Carnell Tate, David Bailey, Ruben Bain, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles. Why did I think Sonny Styles would go before Arvell Reese? Maybe it's just because he's getting the hype now. Let me see. But let's go down. Kendrick Falk, Peter Woods, Caleb Lemieux, Caden McDonald. Philadelphia is on the clock. And Kenyon Sadiq. You know, Kenyon Sadiq went. I just saw him. Kenyon Sadiq. He went. The Cowboys are not going to take Kenyon Sadiq when they gonna get one of them tackles or one of them off. No, they're not gonna do that. The Dallas Cowboys are going defense. So, but this just goes to show you how different it is. How different it is. Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver, he go from Arizona State. Dallas gets him too. So they made a trade. Dallas sent the number 20, the number 92, and the number 52 to Tampa Bay. Okay. So we lose out. So in this particular situation, we lose out on Kenyon Sadiq. So who's the next one that you want to get? Right? You got Concepcion. Me, I'm looking at offensive tackles, and my man is still there, Caden Proctor. Blake Miller is a good one. And Ianakor, everybody seems to like this guy. Everybody seems to like this guy from Arizona State. So I'm about to do a little bit more homework, but everybody likes this Ianakor from Arizona State. So I'm looking at Caleb Tiernan, the kid from Northwestern. Some of these numbers are just like a hell of a lot better, but Blake Miller, from the kid from Clemson. After the Bears had success with getting Loveland early, someone is going to get Sadiq earlier than expected. Possibly. So I was thinking he just went, Kenyon Sadiq just went number 11. Was that what it was? Number 12. I was under the impression that possibly Carolina, the Eagles might trade with Carolina, but how far? That's the other question. How far does Howie want to trade up, if he wants to trade up at all? Because depending on how far you want to go up will determine how much you have to give up. So, all right. So he didn't last. So let's restart. Right? On the clock. And who wanted let me see. Oops. My bad. So who wanted Kev, you wanted to be the Redskins? We'll be the Redskins, we'll be the Eagles. Anybody else? I got 15 minutes. Anybody else want a team? All right, Kev, you Washington. And who else? What else we want to do? So we got Philly, we got Washington. Anybody else want to claim a team? Going once, going twice. All right. Just not with the Yo, you know they talking about bringing the Redskins back. They're talking about bringing the name back. So you may need to trade past the Panthers as they need a tight end. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what happened yesterday. And then I did a draft where I didn't, and the Panthers still didn't take them. So, remains to be seen. Don Padre, you the Panthers? All right. Let's see what we got. Let's enter the draft room. Mendoza, Arvell, going down. All right, Washington's on the clock. Kev, who you want? Washington's on the clock. Kev, who you want? Put it in the chat. Yeah, I agree. Not getting Sadiq is not the end of the world. Kev, you want Jeremiah Love? Okay. Carolina's on the clock. Don Padre, who you looking for Carolina? You want to grab your needs are inside outside linebackers. Oh, I'm sorry, interior offensive linemen, cornerbacks, wide receivers, linebackers, edge, and tight end. Don Padre, who you looking at, bro? Let me see. Caleb. Okay. You want the offensive tackle from Utah? Taken. And this is what I'm Kenyon Sadiq. So somebody made a trade. Vikings end up with Sadiq. So I'm going to take. We do need a safety. But I'm going to think like Howie. And I'm thinking Howie, if Howie doesn't go after Kenyon Sadiq, I think the first pick is going to be either Caden Proctor or the kid from Clemson, Miller. So I'm going to take Caden Proctor. A lot of people think Caden Proctor is overrated, but he's one of the highest ranking offensive tackles in the draft. So I'm taking Caden Proctor. So now we go into round 2. I don't even know where the Eagles are in round 2 yet. Atlanta, Minnesota, Detroit, Carolina's on the clock. Carolina, we at 51. Who you want? Don Padre, you want Proctor? Or was that from like the last round? Don Padre, who you want at pick number 51? Right. Who you want now, Don Padre? I recognize that there's a little delay by the time I'm talking and by the time you respond in the chat. So let me know. Just put number 51 and then who you want. Pregnan? Emmanuel Pregnan? Need a guard? Got him. Philly's on the clock. We need an edge, offensive tackle, safety, wide receiver. I would be tempted to see that kid from yeah. 6'3", 4.5 speed. Stowers was a good player. 4 touchdowns, 765 yards, 61 receptions. That's not bad at tight end. Can he block though? That's the question. But I will say, you know what? We are on the clock. We need the offensive tackle. We need another. I'm going to look at quarterbacks, tight end. I mean, the tight end, the best available. The best available tight end is better. A guard. Do we need a backup guard? We do, because I don't know what's going to happen with. When we got Brett Toth, interior lineman, Cam Jurgens. Does he need a backup? Like, how are they gonna do that? Or should I go safety? But we just drafted Drew Makuba. I don't know. Safety, defensive tackle, another linebacker. We don't need linebackers. Josiah Trotter is available at linebacker. You know, That might be a Jeffrey Lurie decision right there. Um, yeah. Well, no. What's his name? Kelp. I think his name is Kelp. Culp or Delp. Oscar Delp. Oscar Delp's got a pretty good grade. He's um they rate Stowers better, but Oscar Delp has got a lot of buzz. 6'4", 245. Um, profile. He did not run a 40-yard dash. So uh, I'm gonna hold off on him, and maybe we can get him in the third. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take the kid out of Auburn. I'm gonna get another backup guard. We got enough wide receivers. I'm gonna get this interior lineman, Connor Lou from Auburn. Yeah, you like, dude. You never know, man. All of this is a lottery pick, bro. All of this stuff is a lottery pick. Philadelphia's got the pick again. 2 picks made. So now this is our third pick. We are still in round 2. Now I'm gonna go back. Oscar Delp. I'm gonna go ahead and take him. Washington's on the clock. Danny Dennis Sutton. Um, let me see. I just fixed it. So I got everybody, right? Yeah, I got everybody up here. You got cornerbacks. You got Kamari Ramsey from USC, Dominique Orange. You got Antonio Williams. Caleb Tiernan is still available, the offensive tackle. Danny Sutton. Um, Danny Dennis Sutton from Penn State. All right. Got the cornerback from O State. Oh, high. Oh, round in the middle, high on both ends. Carolina, you up? Padre, you up? We are in round 3. This is about as far as we going because I'm about to land this plane. Yeah, I figured as much. He probably had a pro day and stuff like that, Panda, but you know, I need that information if I'm running a mock. You want Ramsey, Kamari Ramsey? That's it. Philadelphia's on the clock. We made 3 picks. We got Caden Proctor, Connor Lou, and Oscar Delp. I'm gonna get a safety. Bud Clark from TSU. 6 foot. Okay, I do not like small cornerbacks. Michael Taffy from Texas. Another 6 foot guy. Wide receiver, Antonio Williams. 5'11". Now I want a big wide receiver. I need a wide receiver at least 6 foot, 6 foot and up. 6'6", 4'6", 40-yard dash. Ooh, he's a big boy. 256. Nah. I don't know. Mayhaps I will take the safety. 4 picks made. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna stop it right there. 2 O-line, first 2 picks. Possibly. But remember, you got to remember, there is no guarantee that Cam Jurgens is gonna make it through the year. Landon Dickerson openly talked about retirement. What's going on, Joe? Landon Dickerson openly talked about retirement. So we don't know what's going to happen. Our offensive line is going to look great at the beginning of the year. What are they going to look like at the end of the year? And they have to draft now for Lane Johnson. They have to draft now for another backup because Jackson ain't going to cut it. Fred Jackson. Tyler Steen. You need somebody to push them. So, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to wait until they break down? So we can't do that. So that's why I got a tackle and an interior lineman. To me, that makes sense. And Howie's done that before. So there's my alarm. Howie's done that before. So to me, that's not out of the realm of possibility. So I can be totally off because this is the craziness of the draft, man. So, but in any case, I'm gonna go ahead and land this plane. That was fun. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing mocks all week. Mocks all week, man. So that was cool. Tonight at 8:30, me and Tone go back at it, and we will be talking about. We might even do a mock tonight on the Bald Eagles podcast. This is draft week, man. It's draft week. I will be live streaming the draft, so please plan on coming with me. I'm working on graphics now and doing some stuff and trying to make it live a little bit. So we'll see. So we shall see. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Get back to work. I'm gonna do the same. And I will talk to you guys tonight. Hopefully, I will see y'all tonight. Join me on Pro Fan Talk as me and Tone go on the Bald Eagles podcast. Can't even talk. Use your words, Marcus. The Bald Eagles podcast tonight, 8:30 p.m. You can watch that on Pro Fan Talk, or you can watch that on Chalk It Up Sports. So, or you can do both. All right. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm gonna keep it moving. Hopefully, it won't be no more breaking news today. And I will see y'all tonight. Have a good one. Peace and go Birds. Yo, 2026 and the link is feeling cold. Stories of a super runner getting kinda old. Jalen under fire, say his vision's getting tight. Calling him uncoachable every single night. AJ in the tray, got me in my feels. Mr. Hollywood is the brownest on the field. Man, he ain't calling plays, I be searching for the spark. Eagles flying solo, hunting shadows in the dark. Prabo and Rossini trying to launch a master plan. Ever since the photos got you sitting with the fans. Draft day approaching, how we sitting on this perch. Gotta fill some holes, so you know he's on the search. 10 toes down with the Eagles on the scene. Watching out for Cap, cause your boy is bleeding green. Searching through the trending topics, info moving slow. Pro Fan Talk, always keep you in the know. Pro Fan Talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro Fan Talk. Where the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all.